Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king. Espinal, and joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the tank top sage. It's Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
Well, it's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What's good, everybody listening? What up, Chris?
Oh, yeah. Also joining us, it is our producer, Edgelord. Big News Brian.
なんというビッグニュース
What's up, nerds?
Hey. We are back. We're here to talk about manga. We got a lot of stuff to get through, so let's not waste any time and let's get into plugs. You could find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JD Cole _37. That's on Instagram, and at New Jump City Josh. That's on X and TikTok.
Hell yeah. Brian?
You can find me at b.esp on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Ooh, yeah. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram, and also TikTok. Follow us on that. Email the show at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and we'll answer it on the pre-show chat show usually. This week we're on a bit of a time crunch, so we did a shorter one talking about Arcane and stuff, so check that out. But yeah, do that. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Not Google Podcasts, damn. I keep saying that. But it doesn't exist anymore. So check us out on Castbox instead, or Pocket Casts, the new hot platforms, it seems. Hit us up on any of those. YouTube, of course, is always important, so check us out on that as well. And yeah, that's all the plugs. You know what to do. Leave a review, do all the stuff. Let's get into the show. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1132, Adventure in Elbaf. We start this chapter by catching up with our dear friend Yamato as he is chasing this person who's just robbing people and kidnapping folks left and right in Wano. And they arrive at the Udon Castle, which is currently under construction at the quarry. And yeah, that's it. That's it for that title page. We open this chapter with the young kid who was hanging out with Shanks when he was there on Elbaf. His name is Cullen, we find out. And he's, seeing that Dorian Bragi's crew is currently arriving to Elbaf, and he's shouting out to them whether they're going to drink at the pub or not. The Giants say no. Cullen runs back into the bar saying that they're going to go straight up. And with that, the bartender lady at the bar there gives Colin some food to drop off for the crew, and as well as, I guess, Colin's father, who seems to be part of the giant pirates. Colin starts to rave about the pirate that Dory and Bragi are bringing, and that Shanks made it sure that they wouldn't forget his name is Luffy. So that should be interesting to see. We see that the Giants are arriving at this rainbow that is coming, and the Straw Hats that are on board Dorian Bragi's ship are kind of admiring it because they've never seen a rainbow this close, and it's very strange because they're not really supposed to be visible at this angle, and it turns out that the Giants actually created the rainbow. Not only that, but they found out that they could actually ride this rainbow. And everybody's just like shocked. It's like, wait, explain the part about the rainbow. It's like, what is the ship riding on? And they're just like, you can ride on rainbows. And they're like, you can? So we get a really cool 2-page spread of of everybody riding on this rainbow going upward, which is super cool. They also see that Hajuden and Stenson are coming up from the underworld after their hunt to meet up with the Straw Hat crew up there. And is this the part? No, they didn't explain that at this part. But anyway, we cut back to the rope bridge where we see Gerd and Goldberg chasing after Roto. They run into Luffy, who is shooting himself back up from the underworld. Last we saw Luffy, he was parlaying with Loki, the sun god, quote unquote. And Gerd catches Luffy in midair, and it's just like, whoa, I know all about you. You were brought here against your will by that other weirdo I know against my will. Gerd really hates Roto. But yeah, Goldberg is like, wait, you just flew up from the underworld. Did you fall down there? And then Luffy remembers that apparently before he left, Loki told Luffy not to tell anybody about their meeting and or about their little promise that they had. So Luffy did in fact seem to make a deal with Loki. So Luffy is struggling not to just blurt out the truth as he usually does, but the giants cut him off before he's able. We cut back to the Sun World in the forests, where the rest of the Straw Hat crew was trying to get away from Roto. And Roto seems to almost catch them, but Zoro and Sanji just trap him with this log, basically. I think they chop down a tree, and it just lands in his way, and he just hits face first into it. And Gerd and Goldberg seems to have caught up, and they beat up Roto for what he did to the Straw Hats. So,
honestly, somebody needed to beat that guy's ass
for real.
With an axe and a spiked mallet.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you hit him
dead?
with the axe and not kill him? Like, is the axe blunt or something?
Hey, Blade.
Would he hit him with the blunt side? I don't know.
It's like what Zoro learned. A blade cuts when you want it to cut.
That would be crazy if that's what she's doing.
She's a swords lady.
Yeah, with an axe, I guess. But anyway, the original Straw Hats are reunited, and everybody is going off to the Elbaf village that is on this level. We cut back to the giant pirate ship, and Dory and Broggy explains that that Elbaf has 3 levels. There's the underworld, which we are now familiar with, the sun world where we're going, and there's the astral world, where assumingly the kings live or something, probably like royalty of Elbaf. And it's at that point we actually finally arrive in the Elbaf village. We get the usual 2-page spread of the entire landscape for the most part. And as we are looking at this, we see we get a narration coming forward saying that to be in the presence of the Gargantuan is to know emotion. Who can possibly put this sight into words that convey its grandeur? And we get little shots of Luffy and Usopp finally arriving at Elbaf proper, and remembering that way long ago this was something that they wanted to do, and they're finally accomplishing it. We get shots of all the other Straw Hats laying their eyes on it. Sanji is not even looking. He is currently nestled in Gerd's bosom. And
what a sentence.
Yeah.
Nestling.
That's the only way to describe it. Look how happy he looks. But yeah, basically the narration continues as the giant pirates also touch down on the island. But most simplify the matter by just using the name Elbaf for the land of giants. Plants, trees, vines, flowers, insects, fish, birds, and animals everything is breathtakingly huge. Adventurers, do not regret your lost time here. However, if there's one message you take away from my account of the gigantic and mystical land of Elbaf, let it be this word of warning. Do not overstay your welcome here. And this narration is signed off by Louis Arnott, Explorer. And that's where the chapter ends, as everybody's reacting to the Rainbow Road. And yeah, the Straw Hats are finally reunited on Elbaf. That was One Piece. Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1132?
Was this the very first time that Luffy told a lie and was able to hold it?
This might be the first time he's ever fought in the series.
Yo, why did that cross my mind too, bro? It's been what, over 20 years?
That he's
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, the first time
Yeah.
he's had a like a thought bubble or something along those lines,
There's no thought
where he's
bubble.
entered his mind. This is the first time he's actually entered his mind.
I guess if you count the little flashback, but he's remembered things before. We just don't know what his mind says. So I don't know if this counts as getting a thought, like the thought bubble era. This is just Luffy remembering. This is like a flashback almost from his perspective.
Yeah, well, I have a recommendation for panel of the week. That's page 9. In the middle. The left middle panel.
Left middle, where Gerd is carrying them?
No.
Am I looking at the wrong panel? Oh, it's on page 10 on my end. Is it the Luffy just being surprised?
Yes.
Just dreading lying right now?
Yeah, that's the one. It's really hard to put into scale just how large this place is, because I still haven't felt that yet. I don't know if that's happened for you guys, but I think maybe once they start walking around, when they're actually in the towns, it's gonna look, as large as they are. But yo, this tree must be. This has got to be like the largest structure we've seen, like in the entire.
I feel like it
series.
has to be to
got a
support
lot
all
of
these
firsts.
giants.
Huh?
I feel like it has to be in order to support all these giants living on it.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I think the anime would really, drive it home. Like the just the sheer scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't really have too many thoughts on this chapter, to be honest. It's intro, like part of the intro to Elbaf. A lot of mystery. The situation. I forgot what the situation with Loki and Luffy. They made a bet about Shanks, right?
No, they made
Like
some
a
kind
deal,
of
like-
deal. We have no idea what it is because that happened off
Oh,
screen.
we were never shown it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's really interesting. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Brian, what you think?
This was a pretty fun chapter. There was something that this Louise Arnaud guy. Have you guys heard of him?
I know exactly who he is.
Never.
You have heard of
So,
him if you've read One Piece, Josh.
The last time
from the El Dorado city.
El Dorado.
No.
The city that got shot up to
No.
the sky.
Skypiea? Talk about Skypiea.
No, he's talking about, the land of Jaya that got shot up to Skypiea.
Oh, no. So last time we saw something from this guy was in Little Garden, I think.
Yes, he was also describing
wow.
Little Garden in an ominous way.
So this dude has been everywhere. It seems.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
if
this is the lurking legend that Oda was talking about.
Yeah, if he's been as far as Elbaf, that's pretty damn far. I happen to know that the streets have been talking about this guy because this is the second time that he's notably shown up in the series, and Oda doesn't do really coincidences in this regard, so a lot of people are saying that he is the man that is marked by flames. That is like the main consensus in the community of some sort.
That Louis Arnaud is the person with the fire mark on his face.
Yeah, the one who is marked by flames. People are supposing that it's him. Because, reasons. I guess he's the only character we.
Reasons. Yeah, I was like, I guess they're going off of vibes, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, Oda doesn't really do coincidences, or if he mentions someone more than once, it could be just a callback. I would say it's probably a callback. to Little Garden, where we first actually met giants. But yeah, some people are saying he's the man marked in flame, which we'll see. I feel like Louis Arnott would have to have been super old, but
Yeah, but time moves differently in Elbaf.
does it?
I think so.
No, it doesn't. What do you mean?
Well, it could be moving slower.
I don't know.
Off of what basis?
What if the longer you stay in Elbaf, the faster like time just flows differently, and that's why he's like, don't stay in Elbaf for too long.
Well, that would be weird. I wouldn't understand why.
What if there was a 2-year time skip when they exit the Elbaf Island?
Damn.
Well, that would be weird. But I mean, I guess somebody would have found the One Piece by then. Everybody's so close. Everybody who's looking for the One Piece is so unbelievably close to it that in 2 years it will probably be found by Shanks or Blackbeard.
Nah,
Oh, okay.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, what are your other thoughts, Brian?
That's about it. We finally got like officially introduced to Elbaf by the narrator. So things are looking like this like the arc is actually going to get started, which is pretty fire. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. Pretty fun chapter.
Yeah.
Missed One Piece last week, so it's nice to have it back.
Oh my God, yeah, it's back. Knock on wood. Hopefully, it'll be back next week. But yeah, I thought this is like kind of just we're in the introductory stage of every arc where we're probably the next chapter is probably gonna be fairly informational as well. Because now Oda's probably gonna do the thing where he has to familiarize us with kind of the world that they're in currently. Which proves dividends later in the arc, as always. So, looking forward to some exposition and whatnot regarding this. I'm very curious as to the deal he made with Loki. If he even made a deal. He seems to have made a promise. They didn't say deal necessarily. So, what if he just recruited Loki to his crew?
There's no way.
Imagine.
There's no way.
That wouldn't be the wildest thing that's ever happened.
That would be the
Mysteries.
wildest thing that's ever happened.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
Nah, I think
It would be
I
pretty
think
wild.
The spring guy coming back was more wild than that.
Really? You think Bellamy returning to the series was wild?
You guys sure acted like it.
Did we?
Did we?
I was like, oh my God, Bellamy's back.
No, we
has
did
the
not.
spring.
You're just
We weren't
saying
even
might
doing the
even
show
join the
that far
crew.
back.
I'm lying.
We
There's
weren't.
no
I'm making
way.
shit up right now.
We weren't even doing the show back then.
Yeah. Yes, we was.
No, we weren't. We started this show in 2019. I think Dressrosa was like in 2015.
Really? Yeah. So when did we start? During Whole Cake?
In the middle of Wano. In like the first act of Wano before Luffy got knocked out by Kaido the first time. But we were
For
definitely
real?
in Wano. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
When we first started the pod, it was like the beginning stages of Wano. It was like probably a handful of chapters before the end of the first act.
That's crazy.
I know, right? How far
Well,
we've
then
come.
I remember talking about it with y'all then.
Well, you have no proof, so.
Chris probably.
We've
paused
definitely
because of
talked about
Bellamy
Bellamy
for sure.
before when y'all had to remind me who he was. It was a big fucking deal.
It was a
right?
big
It
deal.
was a big deal. Yeah, made it a really big deal.
Did we?
And yep.
You know what?
Not
what
Oda.
you know what probably
Chris
happened?
and Brian Espinal.
You know
made
what
it a
probably
very,
happened?
very
Me and
big
Brian probably said, "Oh, Bellamy's back," and Josh took that as probably just
Just like fucking Bellamy.
Yeah, that probably is how it went. But I guess if we're being realistic.
Anyway, I mean, I also don't have many thoughts about this chapter of One Piece so far. It's good to have it back, obviously. I'm very excited to see where this goes. Luffy will probably have to tell his crew that he made some kind of a promise with Loki. He doesn't seem particularly worried about it.
Nah, he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't say anything unless he really had to say something.
I feel like he'll have to say something. He made a promise with him.
Nah.
All right. Well, there's
Luffy will only talk about it if it comes up.
it'll probably come up. Like something will have to. They won't mention. They'll probably say is like, oh, we have to go somewhere, and then Luffy's like, actually, I can't right now. I have to go back. But
I made a deal with my Nakama.
yeah, my new Nakama, Loki.
I have one more thought. So if you go back to page, what's that, 15? It's like a 2-page spread when we see Elbaf. I want y'all to look at this page, and then I want y'all to think about the ending song for Greed Island.
I don't remember the ending song for Greed Island.
I'm really disappointed.
I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I've seen the anime. I didn't
That's
really ever
crazy,
stick
man.
around for the
You gotta
ending
watch
themes.
it again.
I've been thinking about it too, but I'm like, you know what? I'm reading the manga right now.
Oh, true.
Like I started the manga from the beginning. I'm like in Heaven's Arena, so I always wanted to read the
Yeah, I
Chimera
got-
Ant and see how different it is.
Yeah, I came across something recently, but I want to wait until we actually get to Hunter x Hunter to talk about it.
Okay. Well, that's all I had to say about.
But
One
it's
Piece.
related to what you said about reading the manga and where you're at.
Nice. All right, then let's move on then. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just some really murderous shit.
Sakamoto Days. This is Sakamoto Days, chapter 192, True Feelings. Last we left off, things have gone really bad at the JAA prison. Tenkyu is now out and about trying to actually kill the fortune teller and everybody, basically. And Shin has now vowed to actually kill Tenkyu in turn and to resign from the Sakamoto store to be an assassin again. We open this chapter with Heisuke trying to convince Shin otherwise. He's like, you aren't making any sense, yo. What do you mean you're going to go back to being an assassin, yo? I picture Heisuke talking like Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, actually.
It's pretty much the same.
Is that the right hand man
Yeah.
to the bald guy?
Yeah. Have you never seen Breaking Bad?
I only watched like a little bit of the first season. I never like kept going.
Oh, okay.
I know it's a good show. I'll check it out one of these.
No,
days.
yeah, no, I was just curious. But anyway, yeah, Shin helps Heisuke dodge this arrow that was incoming from Tenkyu. And Shin just asks, is like, hey, do you think this guy needs to die? And Heisuke's like, I can't answer that. And
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you know, you're not necessarily wrong, but we can't do it. Basically, it's just like, but Shin is like, I think he does. That's how I truly feel. Even Tenkyu's like, damn. And Shin talks about how there was one time he read Sakamoto's mind, and he remembers him thinking that killing is wrong. No matter who they are, everyone is precious to someone. And Shin says that he always wanted to become that kind of a person too, but he can't do it because not everyone's a good person. And that's when Tenkyu comes in and tries to kill him by surprise. He smashes the ground with his bow, and the ground crumbles underneath everybody. Tenkyu and Shin fall into the hole. Heisuke tries to pull Shin up, but Shin denies his hand and allows himself to fall with Tenkyu into the hole. And Heisuke yells after him that he was the one who invited him to the Sakamoto store and that he doesn't want to be there without Shin. And Shin is thinking back to the Sakamoto rules of no killing. If you're a part of our household, they're your rules too. And he's remembering all the times that Sakamoto has trusted him, basically. And he thinks to himself that that he cares about a lot of people, and if he could protect someone, he's going to do it. I think this is actually Sakamoto saying that, and he's remembering what Sakamoto said to him. My bad. Is a little confusing. But they land in the lowest floor of the prison, which is this weird sewer type area, and Shin narrowly dodges another arrow from Tenkyu, and Tenkyu says that he likes what he said back there. He's I finally feel like I heard your true feelings. He's like trying to be a good person is tiring, right? And Shin's like, yeah, all the people around me are so good, it's ridiculous. That's why I won't let anyone hurt them, even if I have to kill you, Tenkyu. And Tenkyu's like, wow.
He said, wow.
He said, when you put it that way, it somehow sounds justified. And he said, but despite that, you're just a killer. So is there any difference between you and me? And she's like, there is no difference, and that's the problem. And they just start, they get to scrapping right there. Tenkyu shoots an arrow, but Shin manages to dodge it and tries to counter it with a punch. But Tenkyu's thinking to himself whether Shin has the ability to see into the future. And he thinks to himself that he has to draw back the bowstring, so there's no avoiding the split-second delay. However, if I use my bow the regular way, he can dodge everything. So he shoots Shin again he shoots the ground underneath Shin's feet with the arrow, and he says, I got to make him impossible to dodge, right? I guess he's trying to affect Shin's footing, and he manages to bat him away with the bow. Shin thinks to himself that he can't really overwrite Tenkyu's thoughts, although he did manage to stop him one time. But come to think of it, he realizes that he's actually never used the power more than once on the same person. And that's when Tenkyu just slingshots himself using the arrow and knocks Shin through a few of like these big support columns. And he warns Shin not to space out because unlike him, he doesn't hesitate to kill. And we cut back then to Heisuke and the rest of the gang as Heisuke is just like thinking over what to do about Shin. But then they are interrupted by a very familiar guy who's walking down, asking the fortune teller that to give him a reading on the horse race ticket. And we now know that Torres is somehow in the prison. And that's where the chapter ends. Boy, oh boy. Josh, what did you think about Sakamoto Days, chapter 192?
Yeah, this was intense. Shin committed to fighting Tenkyu. He said, he said, even if I have to kill, I like that response when he was like, oh, despite that, ultimately you're just a killer. Is there really any difference? And he's like, no, there's no difference. It's like, that's the whole issue, like that I'm coming to terms with. But yeah, man, Tenkyu is formidable. But I think obviously the fact that Suarez is, what's his name?
Torres.
What was his name? Suarez? Torres.
Suarez.
I think, yeah, I was close. I think the fact that Torres is there definitely means that Sakamoto got there too. And he's about to pull up and save Shin, in my mind.
And you would improve Sakamoto?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That's possible.
I feel like Sakamoto is
save Shin from making that decision. so he doesn't have to become a murderer / assassin or whatever. Yeah. Brian, what were your thoughts?
Honestly, this is like really cool and creative fight scene between Tenku and Shen or Shin, whatever his name is. Keep
Shin.
forgetting.
Like
Shin.
my shin.
But honestly, I don't know, man. I'm a little disappointed in this prison arc so far.
What?
I thought it would be, I don't know. I guess I'm not really feeling this Shen moment very much. It feels a little forced for me. Or just like, man, I feel like Shin already has enough going for him. He doesn't need like this whole I should be an assassin again arc. You know what I mean? Because we're pretty far into the series at this point. We know that he's gonna not like become an assassin again. So I don't know. I just feel like they could have done a lot more with this prison arc than do this, because it's a really cool creative setting. Like you don't have to have this kind of inner turmoil, especially for a series like Sakamoto. Because now it feels like Hisuke is getting nothing, essentially. And Shin isn't really getting much either. So, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed so far. Like, it started off strong, but then they just went immediately down to the bottom, like, after one fight. It's just like, man, would have been cool if they fought their way down and then fought their way up. You know what I mean? That would have been cool. But it just feels super easy.
Where you're coming
it feels like a very easy arc. But
yeah,
those are my thoughts.
If I may, Chris.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you on a level, Brian, because in my mind I thought maybe because Shin and the sniper kid Hisuke was, going to the prison by themselves, that this was gonna be kind of almost like a training arc in a sense, you know what I mean? While also like, learning maybe new things about the JSA or slur and all of them, etc. But I think like what Brian was saying, how like it's moved kind of fast. I think like Sakamoto Days is kind of like always been that way. I think like when you're reading through it, like when you're catching up and you're speeding through the chapters, you don't really feel like the effects of it chapter to chapter, but it doesn't really take its time to develop characters like within the arcs, unless like the arcs were like really like super centered around like us, a character. Like early on, we got that arc about Shin being created in the lab, and then we got that arc with the Chinese girl and her family. That was like pretty character centered, but everything else that happened, after that was just, being introduced to new characters like from the Order and like other protagonist characters, like from like the test when it was on that island. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I think that's just kind of the flow of this manga. Like, then if they're gonna develop new abilities, it's gonna happen probably like on the spot or off screen with like a small explanation. And I think like that's not what makes the series strong in particular. It's like the action itself and the developments that come along with it. So that's why I'm not as like upset with the pacing, but I do know where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, I don't disagree with you at all, Brian. I think you're right. This probably could have. I don't mind this crisis of faith type of thing with Shin, because I feel like if there was any character to have it, it would probably be him. Because I think all throughout the series, Shin is a bit of an overthinker. and you know, it makes sense for him to kind of like consider this. But I do agree that it did happen a little quick, and I feel like if they eased into it a little bit, it probably would have hit a lot better, and there would have been a little more investment in it. Do I think that he's gonna switch back? Maybe. I mean, if they wanted to subvert expectations a little bit and have Shin go off on a little bit of his own arc and separate from the group a little, I think that would be interesting. If he manages to kill Tenkyu, although I don't think that'll happen because I feel like Tenkyu is gonna be a fairly big character down the road. I don't see Tenkyu dying here.
Shin is gonna go on his Dirty Deku arc.
Yeah, something of that sort, you know. If he goes on a little bit of a Dirty Deku arc, I wouldn't mind that. Without the dirt.
I guess.
Nah, he's gonna be dirty as fuck.
But I think that would be interesting. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think that's what they're. I think that would be an interesting angle to take. I don't think that Heisuke is getting nothing. You know, I think Heisuke is gonna. Heisuke is being primed for development. He's just probably not going to get the same level because he is kind of more of a side character in that regard. Like Shin is basically a secondary protagonist because he has been developing alongside Sakamoto from the start. So it makes sense for him to get more of the exposure there. But I can see maybe Heisuke growing from a fight with Torres, you know?
Why is he randomly fighting Torres?
Well, because Torres is randomly there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like Torres doesn't have to be here. This prison area is filled with so much potential. Why is Torres here, bro? Maybe they'll prove me wrong next chapter. But I don't know. It just feels like if Sakamoto shows up to this prison, it kind of takes away from Shin and Heisuke. For sure.
I don't disagree with that. I feel like that takes a little bit of the steam out of Shin growing on his own as a character. But Torres
Like
could just be here by himself.
Like think about the plot. It's Impel Down with assassins, and you have to get to the bottom and then back up. How is it that it hasn't really capitalized on that? You know what
I mean, Impel Down's a very different arc.
Yeah, I know, but
I feel like
the setting.
I feel like it couldn't do
Prison
it.
Break.
Sakamoto's not that kind of series either. Like, in order for it to be, I'm fine with it being a simpler jailbreak story. The implications of One Piece and its larger world, nothing could be Impel Down in that regard unless you built up 500 chapters for it, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that I want it to be like Impel Down. I'm just saying if it's like the setting is similar to Impel Down, but the execution is almost has nothing to do with the prison itself.
Yeah, I mean, it was more about getting Atari out. It's not the same
They
kind
could
of.
have set this literally anywhere else.
Oh, it's a jail. I mean, Atari is there for, you know, they needed to put Atari in a place that was hard to get, which is a prison. Makes sense to me. I don't know. I don't think the jail itself absolutely has to be any kind of special in order for this arc to be good. But I will say that I agree that they got down there a little too quick, and, you know, might have been nice to flesh it out a little bit and fight their way down or whatever, but
They just beat one dude and they were like, all right, here you go.
yeah. But you know what? They're fighting against the main boss now. You know, it's not like they're just walking out here. They got two of the major arcs, and I feel like this is an attempt to kind of like tie Sakamoto and Shin's arcs together. So we'll just see how they execute it. I have faith in Sakamoto Days. Maybe my expectations on a plot level are a little lower because Sakamoto is more of it's like a fun action series more than anything. It's not particularly deep, which is not I don't see it as a flaw at all. Because some things are just allowed to be fun, and, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm arguing. that this isn't super fun.
I'm having fun. I'm enjoying
It's
this.
fun. It's
How can I
fun,
say?
but the circumstances aren't.
This
like,
man
as fun as they
slingshotted
could be.
himself with his own bow and arrow.
Yeah, no, it's cool, but it's just like, man, fucking Shin, can you not be a little fucking bitch for like 3 seconds?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
I feel like I get the arc they're going
You
for.
said that with your chest, bro. You
Yeah.
meant that.
I feel like I know what the arc they're going for and I like it, but it did feel rushed. I agree with you on that front.
Well, maybe Magellan will pull up and make it hard for everybody.
Yeah, maybe there is just a warden that's gonna just come down here and be like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And he's just super strong.
What up?
What if Torres is the warden this entire
Yeah, this
time?
whole time.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
a lot of noise going on around here.
those are all my thoughts for Sakamoto. Does anybody have any rebuttals or anything?
No, sir.
Sand blasters.
Team blasters. You know, what it reminds me of. I don't know if you guys remember those really old Smash Brother cartoons.
Yeah, with the mascots like walking with each other, and then they
Where
all start fighting.
They were like Lean Maester.
Oh, you talking about that?
Those are
You
super.
talking
Old.
about from YouTube?
Yeah, these really old Flash cartoons that were
Oh.
just like nonsense YouTube
Yeah, that was
with the sandblasters. The way you said it reminded me of Falco being like Lean Maester. Yeah. I forget what the video is called. I wonder if it's still around. I have to look it up later. I have to find it.
I think it was like Smash something. That was the same thing that had the Falcon lunch.
Yeah. Falcon lunch.
Lunch.
We don't really talk about that though. That's
Fuck.
secret. That's secret shit.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it real fast. Brawl Taunts. That's what it was. Damn, 15 years ago. God damn, we're old.
That was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, we're old. I'll have to watch this later. Give myself a nostalgia thing. But anyway, it'll be a fun nostalgia trip for later. We ready to move on, boys?
Yeah.
Sure, all right. Let's go.
The champ is here!
Kagurabachi. This is Kagurabachi chapter 59, Blackout. We have a cool 2-page color spread with all of the sad ninjas who were betrayed by Samura just now, looking sad.
Yeah, I guess they're gonna not be evil.
Yeah, I guess they're gonna be like, God damn. But last we left off with Kagurabachi, Samura has betrayed everyone in the series. Sorry, he seems to have killed Uruha and wounded Hakuri pretty bad. And Chihiro was about to face off against Hirohiko, if I'm remembering his name right, who is now the contracted wielder of the Kumeyuri, which is Uruha's sword. But he was pulled away from there by Hakuri, and he is now seeing just everybody on the ground. And Samura just chimes in and is like, Hakuri's okay, by the way. He's not dead. He's fine. And Chihiro is just like taken aback. He's like, was it you? Was this you? And he starts yelling. He's like, the Hishaku killed my father. What possible reason could there be to let them get the enchanted blades? And Samura is just like, revenge? I heard the rumors at the fortress, so that's the 7th blade. I'll handle the rest. You lay down that sword. And Chihiro's like, the hell I will. He's like, if you're an enemy, then I'll kill you. I have to. And Samura doesn't waste any time and does a cool slashity slash on Chihiro, taking him out in one blow. He seems to try to take the N10 away from Chihiro, but then he gets teleported by
Shiba.
Damn, finally.
This dude is never present for these arcs.
Where you been at, bro?
So Shin, he seems to be genuine. I mean, I guess this maybe puts to bed the suspicions. You think so?
Yeah. I was just thinking that. It's funny that came to your mind too, but you're right. I don't think he's a bad guy. Since
I guess
the
not.
literal
I guess.
traitor is
Wait,
right
what
in
if
front of
he's
him.
what if he's doing this to get even deeper undercover?
No, because Samura's like, oh, Shiba's here. I can't do anything right now. This guy I think Shiba's a good guy. I feel like this kind of seals it. He's still mysterious as hell.
All right, he's off the hook for now.
I think we could take him off
But
the
I'm
suspect
keeping an
list.
eye on him.
Yeah, we could keep an eye on him. But I feel like I'm like 95% trusting Shiba at this point. But anyway. Yeah, he's like, what the hell's going on here? He's like, Samura, why? And he explains to Shiba that the Hishaku know about their sins and they intend to tear off the lid and bring down this country. And he says, the curse that binds us forever, that forever binds us as long as we continue to live as heroes. And he's like, you haven't told Chihiro. He's better off not knowing. And he said, this is the end. And Samura takes off. We get a caption that says 2 hours later, the contracted sword bearers, Uruha and Chihiro, both confirmed dead. Well, we'll see about Chihiro, but Uruha's probably dead. You guys feel like it's safe to do our ceremonial ritual for the dead manga characters?
Nah,
Yeah.
I'm still holding out hope that Uruha's still alive.
Bro, he's a pack. He's dead. The guy has his sword. That's it. He died.
Yeah, his sword is active. He was cut pretty bad. You know what? I'm gonna give him the sound effect for now. I do have a 1-up sound effect for if he's alive. So
Yeah, we'll correct it. But it's like 99% certain.
Yeah.
that he's a pack. I know Chihiro's not dead.
yeah, I feel like Chihiro's gonna live.
Nah, I think
I
Chihiro's
mean,
dead
no
for
way.
sure.
Bro, imagine Chihiro just dies and Shiba's the main character now.
No, it's not gonna be Shiba. It's Hakuri. Hakuri's gonna be the main character.
Yeah. Becomes a super sorcerer.
Yeah, he gets
With
to use the
ench-
N10.
with the enchanted blade.
Yeah.
Watch this happen in 2 weeks. But anyway, we cut back to the Hishaku headquarters. Hirohiko is getting his arm reattached, and he's talking to the weird high collar guy, and he's like, Chihiro suddenly disappeared right before my eyes, just when it was getting good. He's like, getting good? You lost both arms. He's like, I think you're lucky that Chihiro got sent to the Sekutsuchi. And
Yeah, paper man.
yeah,
Out of here.
yeah, and he
Talk
explains
about
that
he wanted to keep fighting Chihiro. Boy, you lucky you ain't lose your legs too. Major fucking what they call quadriplegic?
yeah, quadriplegic.
Quadriplegic? Yeah, it made him look like a fucking beanbag.
Yeah.
Lucky.
And he turns over to Yura, who's sitting on the table, and he's like, Yura, why won't you let me wield Kume Yuri? I wanted to try it at least. And you're like, just in case, he's coming. And High Collar guy's like, you told him where we are? He's like, no, but we're dealing with the Enchanted Blade Bearer who controlled the war. And we get a 2-page spread of, I guess, Samura using his sword, and it creates this giant owl construct that seems to find them. This looks sick as shit. This is a really cool 2-page spread.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, he says our freedom will be curbed for a little while. Even Yura's like, we got to deal with this real fast. We can't do whatever we want anymore.
And I quote, "Our freedom will be curbed for a while." What a line!
Yeah. So Samura comes in and he's like, what the hell kind of plan was that? All those people didn't have to die. And he's like, what is that? The ends justify the... And Yura's like, the ends... What was that all about? The ends justify the means. It's like, we got the enchanted blades. We depleted the Hakuri. And Samura's like, well, if you'd just given me the sword from the start... And they explain, it's like, well, you were a trump card. We didn't... It's a risky move for us for you to even have that fucking thing. So yeah, Samura's just like, well, you better have it your way. You have it your way, but you better make good on your promise. And it turns out they both have these little pinky seals that I guess is indicative of their deal that they made. Very
adorable.
Yeah, they made a pinky promise.
Yeah. They made each other pinky bracelets and made a pinky promise.
Yeah,
it's very sweet.
It's very sweet. High Collar guy explains that right after they killed Chihiro's dad, Yura went straight to Samura's house and made a contract with him. He already knew what time it was. He's just like, I have to get this guy on my side immediately. So he said he'd help kill the contracted sword bearers under the following conditions: to reveal all the identities of all 10 members of the Hishaku, reveal the identity of the Kamunabi insider who leaked Rokuhira's location, and the whereabouts of the enchanted blades. So Samura knows all this shit. And he says, you've certainly gone all out, killing Chihiro Rokuhira even. And he was like, he was going to get in the way. There's no doubt about that. So, I had to do what I had to do. Hirohiko is pissed. He's like, you killed Chihiro? He and I were going to battle to the death. I'd finally made a friend. He says, I will avenge Chihiro, mister. I'll kill you, I swear. And Samura's like, don't worry about that. He said, to fulfill the contract, after we kill the sword bearers, I'll battle you all to the death. And High Collar guy is like, yeah, this is what sucks about this, He said, with this guy's help, we'll be able to kill the contracted sword bearers a lot easier. But what happens after that fucking sucks. He says, as far as he's concerned, the purpose of the contract is to get all the information on all the sword bearers and kill all of the Hishaku. So he's also a threat to our team. And he surmises that the only reason he hasn't even killed Hirohiko already is because the Kumayuri will just go to someone else and it'll never end. So yeah. And Samura explains that even if he says that if a blade is unsealed, Samura will be able to detect it no matter its location. So he's like, don't get any ideas. He says, I'll kill all the sword bearers on my own. You just provide the information. And Yura explains that the Kamunabi have changed their defenses. The fortresses have all been vacated. So it seems that all of the contracted sword bearers are gone now. And it was probably because of Shiba. Of course, Shiba. And he explains that they'll need a week to get a good idea of their barriers and how their forces are positioned. And so Samura's like, all right, let me know when.
Be right back.
And he just disappears into cool edge feathers. And Long Caller guy is like, are we going to be able to deal with him? It's not a great idea to play the trump card so soon. And Yura's like, well, we couldn't be helped. Besides, I wouldn't have played the trump card if it was too reckless. On the other hand, it's time to play for keeps now. And meanwhile, Samura is thinking to himself, one more week. In one more week, it'll all be over. So we then end the chapter with Chihiro on an operation table as doctors are trying to save his fucking life. And woo, that's where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think about Kagurabachi, chapter 59?
Very good chapter. In of itself, Chihiro is defeated physically, mentally, spiritually. He needs a hug.
Our little guy has been through a lot
Yeah.
in only 59 chapters. I don't think there's been a Shonen Jump protagonist that has gone through as much as he has in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's like for all he goes through, I'm never upset when Chihiro's an edgy guy. You know what I mean? It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
He is the only
Been
one
slashed a
allowed
lot.
to be edge.
Yeah, he's been through a lot of fights, watched his father die, and all that. It's been tough.
Mm-hmm.
Now Samurai, he's a piece of work. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I have a bad feeling, and it's not because Brian and I were wrong.
Yeah, we'll talk about
We're gonna,
that.
yeah, we'll get to that. It's not because we were wrong. It's feels like things are happening kind of fast.
Hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say. Not there's just concern. That's the word. I'm a little concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, you know what I'm saying? Probably like a 3.5.
What in what regard do you think it's getting canceled?
Yeah. But
I
it's like I said, it's a 3.5, so it's not. I don't think it's. If y'all ain't feeling it, and it's not really worth discussing.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. It's
I'll
one
tell
more
you this
week
right
and it'll
now.
be over.
Kagurabachi is currently first in rankings.
What? Right now.
This chapter made it first. Last chapter was not available. The chapter before that was 11th, 14, 7. I feel like Kagurabachi will be safe for the time being. It's such a success here, and I feel like that's important nowadays. That's more important than it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I'm just worried for nothing. Anyway, man, that owl ability, I just something about it just made me laugh while you was explaining it. I mean, it's pretty scary actually. I mean, it's a big ass fucking owl. I don't know if that's a metaphor that's really out there. Imagine walking and you just look up at the sky for some reason.
There's a giant fucking owl.
Yeah. I guess I think I was hallucinating. That'd probably be the last day I smoked weed.
Mhm.
Probably. The owl would make me quit weed cold turkey.
Damn.
LOL owl in turkey. But yeah. Yeah, man. That's the type of effect that would have on me.
Yeah. I'd quit cold owl.
Well, yeah, yeah. There you go, Chris. Yeah. I believe in like an owl god or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like you'd have no choice but to believe that there's some kind of owl-esque god out there.
Yeah. Definitely what I wouldn't be thinking is that one person did this. And
Yeah,
that's Samura. So he can teleport or something? No, all right.
he
It's not
flies in on
even
feathers
all
and
right. It's
shit.
not yeah, it's not even that he could probably fly places fast. It's the fact that he found them. And that's how he did, right? He put the big ass fucking owl in the sky and he found them just like that.
Hmm.
What are you supposed to do?
Nothing. This guy controlled the war.
Yeah, that's what they said, right?
Mm-hmm. This is the strongest
He
guy.
controlled.
That sucks. When the strongest guy
Yeah,
also happens
yeah,
to be the
man.
traitor.
He keeps saying that they did something. He keeps saying that they did something really bad. When Mr. Sheba pulled up to save Chihiro from sure death, he is like, "Oh, you haven't told Chihiro he's better off not knowing." I want to know. I'm better off knowing. I think we all are. So kindly, please let us know.
Yeah, I'm
Mr.
sure.
Sakero Hakazano.
Yeah,
ASAP. That needs to be in the next chapter.
I feel like
Right
that's
after we're
next.
wrong Burgundy, that's got to be what we talk about.
I
To
feel
wipe
like
the
what's gonna
face out,
happen
you know?
is that like when Chihiro wakes up, he'll ask Shiba what the fuck happened, and then we'll get a cool flashback.
You seem like, listen, we fucked up. Bad.
We
We're
didn't
gonna
did a
find
bad
out that
thing.
Shiva is one of the new contracted sword wielders.
Imagine he was like a secret one.
Not even that he's a secret one. He was just while he was away. One of the other ones died, and he's just like, well, I guess I'll take it.
We're gonna find out that Shiba is contracted to all of them secretly.
The ultimate.
Like he's able
contract.
to use all of them.
Yeah, he's an end specialist.
Yeah.
I just teleport myself away from the blades after I use them.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Shiba is gonna be anything but super broken, and then he's gonna die.
Yeah. His condition is that he can't be there for three out of 4 times he can be there for plot relevant fights.
Yeah,
But
he
that 1/4 of the time, that 25%, yeah.
his
saw that
condition
popping.
is that he has to go to the bathroom for 25% of the fight. He just has to take a huge dump right before the fight starts, and then he can fight.
Yeah, those darn Nen vows.
Nah. But Brian, what did you think?
Honestly, I don't have too much to say. You guys kind of covered all the bases, but it was a pretty all right chapter. I'm really interested to see what the implications are for the next arc, because that would mean that, like, if the Hishaku can't really do much, then wouldn't that mean that they're just gonna rematch Samura again in the next arc?
Probably.
Because I mean, he's also gonna know that Chihiro's still alive, like, immediately, right?
Probably.
Because
I mean,
Enten, he will be able to sense that Enten is being used by him.
well, Enten is like a special one that was made separate from the others, so he probably can't sense that one.
Oh, right, that makes sense, because he didn't know that it existed in the first place. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it seems like they're in for another fight with this guy in the next arc.
Mm.
So
Best
maybe we're
Genius
just
makes an appearance.
maybe we're not gonna be wrong Burgundy. We're just wrong. We're just right.
Mhm.
Right, Randy's like an arc ahead. You know what I mean?
No.
Mm,
No.
it's okay. Okay.
Brian, coping will not be allowed.
That is just a cope by people with agendas.
Just let it go, Brian. All is good. There will be other opportunities in the future.
There will be retribution.
There will be retribution.
The
You
time
never
has
know
come.
how the-
But yeah, those are my thoughts. Not much to say about this one.
Mm.
I have a rebuttal for Brian. How did you miss one of your favorite characters from My Hero Academia?
Huh?
You heard me.
How did I miss?
One of your favorite characters from My Hero Academia.
Who?
That's Genist.
You're talking about high collar guy?
Yeah.
I never think of Best Genist.
I'm not gonna lie. I bet high collar guy is pretty cool.
He's more like Phaeton.
Phaeton can barely speak. This guy's thinking like OD.
Yeah, Phaeton is
No, but his collar is
Man,
more like
Linkin
Phaeton's.
Park.
He is kind of like that.
Yeah. Were those all your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah.
This is my RGC, by the way.
Whoa.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
You know, I bet it was actually. I bet it was, Chris. Kudos.
I mean, it's not even because of that.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it certainly helps, but
A little
Subconsciously,
victory lap
sure.
on us.
no, I mean, victory laps for next week. But
You're just pre-gaming your victory lap.
no, I'm not even going to mention it. What I'm talking about is I did actually really like this chapter. I think it sets up the next arc pretty effectively. I like the threat that they're establishing with Samura. I think this is an interesting dynamic that he has with the Hishaku. I'm wondering how it's all going to play out because so many plans have changed now.
I mean, the Ishaku are definitely still just playing him, right?
Yeah,
They're just going to use him to make the Kamunabi even weaker.
definitely. But I mean, that's why I'm saying it's a very interesting dynamic because I think Samura is a really interesting character, although he does like fall into the same kind of he's effectively like a copy of two other characters that we talk about on this show. He's basically Fujitora and Billy wrapped into one.
Yeah.
The blind samurai who blinded himself to as penance for some reason. Who's got like these really hard principles and all that stuff that I really think this is a fun take on it. Kagurabachi is shaping up to be interesting. This is like the second time Chihiro has been in super duper critical condition in like 2 arcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Ichigo-esque. If you ask me.
Yeah, he is very Ichigo-esque in that he sustains massive bleeding cuts. And has to be
At the beginning of the next arc, he's gonna have a scarf.
Yeah, he's got to get a scarf and or a turban.
He's gonna be shouting, "One guy!"
Yeah, he's got to save someone. He's gonna appear. It'd be
I hope next arc is more of a Hakuri arc instead of a Chihiro one while he's like recovering from his injuries.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they went that route where they focus on more of the side characters. I imagine that these sword bearers are together now because they hinted at Shiba, vacating the fortresses. So it may have been just safer to gather them all with the Kamunabi.
So did he rescue 2 of them, or did he rescue like even the the fucked up one.
He says the fortresses have been vacated, which imply the other two samurai that the other two swordsmen that were being hidden away. So I don't think that counts the guy who's imprisoned by the Kabunabi,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's more talking about the other two samurai that we're gonna go get originally.
Okay.
If that was that easy, why didn't Shiva do this himself?
Because he couldn't cover all the bases.
Why couldn't he just
At the
pull
same
up?
And then I pulled it up, pop out at the after party.
But yeah, I mean, interesting stuff. I really enjoyed this chapter a lot.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Do you guys have any rebuttals or anything?
No, sir.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's move onward.
Who's Fujitora again?
He's the
Fujitora is
blind-
the admiral, the blind admiral who controls gravity.
Yeah, he like
Oh,
throws
right.
rocks.
You said Fujitora, and who else?
Billy.
Oh, from Undead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The Billy.
Okay. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Kurapika is now drowning in an indescribable emptiness.
Hunter x Hunter.
All right. So, Hunter x Hunter. You would think that they announced martial law and we would move on from this negotiation card game, but they just said, "Fuck that. We're just going to keep playing our card game." And basically the martial law, we continue with the announcement that martial law is happening, so everybody's kind of like the speaker's like, "Yo, martial law, stay in your rooms, keep your hands on your table, don't be weird." And Borkson is kind of like,
They did say to put your hands on the table. They
Borkson's
told
kinda
people in
like,
the different tiers to do different things, though, bro. Wait,
Oh,
we
yeah,
gotta
they did.
talk about it. Wait, on the third tier, they said get on your hands. I mean, get on your knees and put your hands up against the wall. Yo, they said on the second tier, you had to sit down and put your hands on the table or put your hands up or you'll get shot. That's buck wild, bro.
Bro,
I didn't
tier
notice
5.
that.
Tier 5 is they just told them to follow orders from the military and their bosses. Tier 4, they said to
Death.
Tier 4 is just like safety measures are in place and this will not affect tier 4. So the whatever trouble is in the upper tiers.
So more like Borkson notices that Morena's tense. And she starts to kind of deduce that maybe they are above tier 3 because the broadcast wouldn't be announced in the lower tiers, right? Or they wouldn't broadcast upper tier announcements to lower tiers. So they immediately continue, and she's just kind of like, "I pick deal." And Morena's kind of like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's my turn. I'm picking deal." And as the announcement is kind of going, Morena is kind of amused by the fact that Borkson is calm even during this crazy ass announcement, which almost certainly means that all hell is breaking loose. And we continue on after a bit of internal dialogue for Borkson. And we kind of get a little bit more of a description of what the deal card is. It's essentially like she, like, a reminder that she gets a card back from the graveyard, and all she has to do is fulfill a small request. So the goal for this deal is to get the X card. And Morena's request is a kiss. And Morena's like, mouth to mouth, a deep kiss, just one, but it'll last until I'm satisfied. Um, and she mentions that the kiss has something to do with her ability, um, because that's how she grants her powers to her followers. Um, but she still needs to fulfill some conditions for her to get the powers, so this kiss wouldn't be like um like an official transfer of the power, because she has to finish the negotiation game, and she has to be present where someone or where her or someone on her team has murdered somebody. So yeah, this would be fulfilling one of the things. But we continue, and Borkson continues to think about the announcement, and she realizes that there is an emergency broadcast meant for Tier 1. Everyone on Tier 1, please return to your rooms and await military investigation. Obviously, a lot more lenient than the other floors, because this is where all the rich people are. So this leads Borkson to believing that the hideout is on Tier 1. But it can't be completely true, because she is a Haley boss. So she had a residence on Tier 1 to begin with, because she's kind of like a royal. So it's a little bit of a narrowing down the situation kind of thing. And Orkson agrees to kissing, and then they make out off screen. And Morena says that it was Borkson's first kiss, basically teasing her a bit. And the X card is back on the table. And as they are about to shuffle, Borkson stops them, and she asks to see the other two cards. And she mentions that she took her eyes completely off of them during her sexual harassment session. And Morena says that she hasn't been cheating, but still, Borkson doesn't fully trust her still, and she still wants to see the cards. And Morena even jokes and says, "So sad, we even kissed." So they flip over the cards, and the no and return cards are still there. So the cards get shuffled, and they get put down on the table, and Borkson picks very carefully, and the X card gets chosen to be sent to the fucking graveyard again. So Borkson is really, really fucked. And Borkson has to pick the response card from Morena, and decides to go with question A, which she can only respond in yeses and nos, I think,
Yeah.
with this one.
Yep, that's correct.
So Borkson immediately starts trying to narrow down where the hideout is. She asks if the hideout is somewhere on Tier 5. Morena says no. Then she asks if it's on Tier 4 or 3. She says no. And then thinking that she finally figured it out, she's just like, yep, it's on Tier 1. So she says the hideout is either on Tier 1, 2, or 1. And Morena says no again. And Borkson is confused. And she's kind of like, you're lying. And Morena says no. Which Borkson is at this point really confused. So she asks, the hideout is on board the Black Whale, and Morena says yes. And then she asks, okay, so that means it has to be made out of Nen. And Morena says yes and no, which makes her even more confused. And then a sound plays, which Borkson immediately clocks it as them being between tiers 2 and 3, which Morena confirms with a yes. And she deduces that this was planned all along since before they built the black whale. That was the sound that initially got her into figuring out where it is, was the sound of the central gate between tiers 2 and 3 being shut. So they had to be around there. And then she starts trying to, figure out how many exits there are within the hideout, which Morena confirms to be 5. And she also narrows down how many people there are within the Haley family, which is 21, including Morena. And she also confirms whether Morena is going to make it out of here alive. Well, not Morena, whether Borkson, if they're going to kill Borkson if she gets the no card. And Morena says yes. And it's a pretty ominous drawing of her confirming that too. And she starts narrowing down their Nen affinity. She goes, "You're the only specialist among the 21 of you." And Morena says yes. So Morena is the only specialist. If Borkson doesn't join, she would be the only specialist in the Haley. Morena doesn't know all the abilities within the Haley. And there's more than one enhancer within the Haley family as well. So now we enter our last set of questions, and Borkson seems very hell-bent on not joining the Haley, so now she's trying to kind of make a case or try to figure out just how flexible Morena is on her goals. She's kind of just like, do you intend on changing it? And she says no. Nope. And she kind of asks again, where she's kind of like, you won't change your goal at all? And Morena says no. And Borkson actually starts to look kind of sad. And she's kind of like, do you think that maybe we could meet halfway on this? And Morena says no again. And Borkson is actually pretty sad about it. And the cards get shuffled again. The no and return cards are shuffled and put on the desk. Everybody within the Haley in this room are watching very intently. And Borkson picks a card and slides it forward. And she kind of looks up at Morena, and she's kind of like, let's do this at the same time. If that's return, I die. If this is return, I'll forget everything that happened here and leave. So then they do a countdown, and then they flip. Holy shit. On a count to 3. On a count to 0. They count down. They go 3, 2, 1. As the tension flips, the cards turn, and Morena has the no card, and Borkson has the return card. And she immediately is like, oh my god, fuck yes. And Morena claps, and she goes, now exchange return with the card you want, and the game is over. And Borkson says, oh, I'm sorry, I crushed the return card and it's all crumpled now. And Morena's like, that's all right, we use a new set every time. And Morena goes, isn't that a mistake? Huh? I forgot this is how this chapter ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we kind of like pan out, and then we look back at the desk, and the yes card is there now all of a sudden, and Borkson goes, no, it's not a mistake. So the return card is turned into the yes card. And that's where we end the chapter. All right, Josh, what were your thoughts?
My mind was blown. This was my favorite chapter of the week, by the way.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Same.
Yeah. So there's only one reason I could think she would say yes, and that is to I think she feels like she has to join the organization and learn all of this stuff in order to really give Saradnik like more of an upper hand, especially since this is supposed to be his like side of the mafia. So if she's put under missions to help them, you know, maybe she could become stronger and end up flipping on them. That's my only thought process, because this is weird. I mean, unless she's being manipulated, but it seems Morena is like really surprised, as well as the three people that are there. This is crazy. Yu-Gi-Oh! I had to say that when Brian said graveyard earlier, when she said, "Oh, she got it from the graveyard," I was like, "Yeah, like Call of the Grave." Fucking Monster Reborn. Anyway, at first when I read this, I thought that the return card somehow transformed into yes, like with something as like something she did when she crumpled it. I don't know, like her crumpling it.
No,
something happened there.
I think so. It says that Marina says now exchange return with the card you want and the game is over. So I guess return gives her a chance to pick a card.
Okay, so yeah, the return card
Yeah,
is the one that enables.
She decided to get yes.
Yeah, the return card enables her to pick out a card from the graveyard. And the idea was that if you take the return card, you pick it no. Or something like that. Or like, you know, whatever the card is that gets you out of the game is what you take.
The X card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
But
she could have
instead of
picked
that-
the X card, right?
Yes, but instead she deliberately picked yes.
That's pretty wild. I
But-
guess this just
Yeah, I have
ensured
no
her
idea
chances
why.
of survival.
Maybe she's scared of like the martial law.
Martial
Nah, I don't think so. I think Borkson is a lot smarter.
Kurapika.
I think Borkson is a lot smarter. Like she's an insanely intelligent character. There has to be a reason why she chose yes. And it has to be for her own kind of thing. Because I don't think she's like it feels like this could be like a play of self-preservation, because the Haley family is extremely dangerous and Morena is extremely dangerous. So if she were to go against her now, there's a chance that maybe things go wrong for her. So she would rather bite the bullet and join now to prevent like whatever happens later on. You know what I mean? Maybe something like that. Because I wonder if Haley members can defect from the family. I doubt you can, because Nen contracts are pretty fucking brutal. So
Yeah, I'm not sure myself. I wouldn't well, the thing is that they have to be devoted to her to even have abilities. So it's not even a question of would anybody defect, because if they have their abilities, then they probably wouldn't.
No, they have to be devoted to not to Morena, but to the cause.
Hmm.
So like she said, there's the major goal and then there's the individual goal.
Yeah.
So as long as Borkson is on board with the main goal, which is killing, I think, or like the destruction of Kakeen, I forget which one it is.
It has to be the destruction of Kakeen. They have to be united on that front.
So what if Borkson did some like mental gymnastics and she's just like, all right, so Kakeen has to be destroyed, but it doesn't specify what the capacity of the destruction of Kakeen is. So maybe there's a chance that her definition of the destruction of Kakeen is different from the rest of the Haleys.
Well, the
I don't
only
know, I
one
just
that
feel
matters
like-
is her. I mean, she seems to just want to kill everyone.
Yeah, and I don't think
So-
Borkson is on board with that, is the thing. I think Borkson is a lot more like she has a lot more autonomy. From what we've seen during this entire negotiation game, even towards the end of this game, she still showed that she did not want to end up joining. So this whatever decision she had to join the Haley happened in that split decision at the end, where she got the return card. And I think what happened was there's a few times within this chapter where things just weren't going Borkson's way, and it felt almost too inconvenient to be by random luck. Like her getting the X card and then immediately having it sent to the graveyard. You see Borkson's reaction to that. Like that's a calculated understanding that something isn't right here. That even though Morena is saying that she isn't cheating, there is some rigging going on in this game. So who knows what would have happened to Borkson if she had chosen to leave with the X card. You know what I mean? So I think she just chose the play that would end up getting her out out alive with all her memories intact. Pretty crazy chapter though. It gets you thinking.
Yeah. Were those all your thoughts?
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
Cool. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't interrupting. But yeah, she mentions that the larger the goal that they have, the larger goal they have in common here is killing people in general, either directly or indirectly. We all have different reasons and circumstances, targets and quotas. Those are our own small goals. So I guess just the killing is the goal that everybody is united under. It's not necessarily to destroy the Kakeen. So whatever the goal she has, she can basically define how broad the goal is so that she could give people the maximum amount of abilities. Because I guess not everybody would want to destroy the Kakeen as much as she does, but people probably want to kill people as much as she does. So I think that's the vibe. I really like this chapter a lot. Borkson is such an interesting character. I love how she just like kind of got all the information she needed, and I feel like the martial law probably had something to do with why she changed her mind. So there's some interesting things to note here. She crumpled the card, and I feel like the point of emphasizing and pointing out that she did it and she's aware that she did it is maybe important.
Yeah, because it feels like that's just I don't know, maybe she just has a lot more emotion than originally thought, but she has been shown to be extremely composed.
Yeah, so I feel like she used this moment of relief to crumple the card for some reason. But that's like neither here nor there. We'll probably find that out later on. The yes was probably a deliberate thing, and I feel like I think one of the big reasons she did is so she can gain her specialist ability.
But she would have to kill like 20 people to get it, right?
Yeah, but I don't feel like that's like a problem for her. She doesn't even have to kill them herself. She needs to be around.
Really? That's how it works? Like the Haley people don't have to directly kill to get level?
They explained it here that hold on, Morena, one of Morena's things she said was
So that I think this is the condition to join the Haley.
okay, not maybe for her ability. So she does, yeah, they do have to kill people, but you know, she's a military, she's like a soldier, so killing is probably not that, you know, crazy for her.
I wonder, can she kill other Haley to get level? Or is it just other
Probably.
people? Oh, well, oh, wait a second. Because all she has to do is kill a Nen user and she gets levels more.
She gets
more
5
quick.
points for it's 5 points for every Nen user and 1 point for just regular people.
So maybe that's her plan. Maybe her plan is to target other Haley members.
I don't know about that. I feel like that's just like too bold. Like she's still in their hideout.
she figured out how many people there are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all she has to do is kill what, 4 Haley members, like Nen users.
Yeah, but
to
I don't
get,
think she'd be able to get away with that, to be honest. And also, I feel like you're not united under one goal if you're just killing your teammates.
I mean, hey, it's killing. They're
Yeah, but you
united under
can't kill your
killing.
teammates.
There's no rules that says that you can't.
I feel like the vibe is you can't kill your teammates. I feel like that's
That's
such a
the
big
vibe,
hole.
yeah.
I feel like there's a big hole in the ability that it would be a little crazy not to have that happen. But yeah, I feel like, you know, there's obviously maybe she's counting on the fact that her specialist ability will be able to take on Morena's ability. Because Morena explained to her that like specialists are very rare and they're capable of a lot. So I don't know. Maybe she's betting on herself. She's very confident. But there
Yeah,
has
that's
to be
what I
some
think,
strategy
too.
involved. I don't think she was manipulated in any way. I feel like this was a choice. It's an
Yeah, me
interesting
too.
choice.
Because even Morena was surprised.
Yeah,
that
Morena was
she-
like, whoa.
No,
Like
I
if
don't-
she was
I doubt there's
manipulated, Morena
manipulation.
would have been like, "Ah, yes, most excellent. You picked yes."
Yeah, that's exactly how it would have went.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to see where this goes. Who knew?
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
already invested in Borkson.
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 This girl is Borkson.
All right. Okay. But that's all the thoughts I had. I thought this was a great chapter as well. This was my like second place, if anything. But I had a good time with it. Any other thoughts before we move on?
Youpers.
Dari, let's go.
A hockey man? You mean a fighter who relies on hockey?
Undead Unluck. With that, I'm going to pass this one over to Josh.
Joshua Cole.
Undead Unluck. Chapter number 233. Easter egg. What? Oh, I didn't know that was the name of this chapter. And now that I do know, it's really funny actually. I like Easter eggs a lot. Both in real life and in media. Anyway, this is Undead Unluck. Last week, Jui soloed. Well, it didn't happen last week, but this was, Jui helped solo all the master rules, got everyone together, and they're all taking on God, plus Soul. So we opened this chapter with Luna, the moon god, talking that shit, saying in Loop 101, which is like the one we're in currently, they attained the highest number of seats in history. Excuse me. With over 20 negators fighting in Ragnarok, without an ounce of animosity between them, and with their goals united. They fight to slay God. Slay. Anyway, but even so, right? Anytime I see that word, I feel like you have to say it dramatically. Anyway, so they continue to say, but even so, you're a few pieces short. I cut back to the action, and your boy, no looksies is like, Fuko, I'll make up for my past deeds later. I wasn't there at that fight before because y'all killed me in I know one's house. He didn't say that, but I remember. He's like, you know, like, what do we need? How else can I help? And Fugo's like, look, like last time we had these 2 secret treasures, right? This big ass sword and this shield. But there's a third one too, and it's called the heart. And we never found that shit. As a matter of fact, nobody ever found that shit. As far as Juicy Juice was concerned. So, Luna, who I named the moon god, he's like, without it, you cannot overcome this final war, Ragnarok, which is the heart. So they're all trying to basically put their heads together to figure out like what the hell the heart is, like where they could go find it. But apparently they looked all around the world, never found a clue. It was never even presented as a quest at any point before. But as they're thinking, the sun god starts splitting his blast from, instead of just hitting the shield, to shooting all around it. So, you know, the Earth's getting hit up really bad. It's in bad shape. They got to do something pretty quick, or everything's gonna die. And Nico's like, damn, I gotta use my fucking brain. But where is it? They need to find this heart artifact. There's no other way. And Juice was like, oh no, Fugo's like, yo, she called like this, like Luna called this a game. All right, a game between Luna and the sun. See whose vision the world will shape itself into. So she's like, look, we have a way to win, because Luna wants to win somehow. You know, that's with the negator abilities and these artifacts. But you know, sorry, like one of the characters, I actually can't tell who that is, but he's like, oh, like, isn't there a chance that's just like a bluff? And they're like, oh, remember in the previous loop with Anno Sensei's G-liner, it's the most important endgame item if you find it, and she made Sensei, the unknown negator, hold it. Said it's always been here since the very beginning, somewhere in this world. So right, they're still talking about how they couldn't find it, but we are at a point, like, with our abilities and our expertise, where we can find it. Luna goes back to her narrating. She's like, yes, that's correct. It lies within the ficklest and most dangerous location in the world. Even if you figure out its location, you won't be able to touch it, for that location means death. Very dramatic, Luna. So Fuku's like, listen, I need all of y'all to lend me your wisdom. We gotta find the answer. We need the heart now. Sean is like, oh, excuse me. Messed up by window. Sean is like, look, I don't know if what I'm about to say is useful, but let me tell you how the gang hides its goods, which apparently this is the case. I never knew this because I wasn't part of no gang.
I didn't partake in any gang
She said-
activities.
Right? I did not. Kendrick would not be proud of me.
Not at all.
I'm joking. He'd be very proud of me. But he said they either hide. Sean is saying, like, as far as like how the gangbangers hide their goods, they either hide it in one spot or they constantly keep it moving. right? It's like so. Like if Julia has squashed the chances of it being the former, it has to be the latter. Meaning like they like Julia with the 100 different. Sorry guys, I'm having a lot of issues with my laptop right now. Okay, we're back. So you said like because of the past 100 loops, like Juiz proved that like it ain't anywhere like on the earth, like on the earth. We would have found it at some point. You know, so that means it has to like keep moving, and it's probably like on somebody, like it's like you know, same with unknown actually. So Fuko starts to think about it. Right, always moving. It could be that a person holding it, if that person hasn't been found after this many loops, then that person must not be aware of it themselves. The holder must change each and every time. So-called us all players, right? Because well, all right. Well, I'll say that for my thoughts. So basically, Foucault comes to the conclusion that a negator is probably unconsciously holding it, but like, you know, Luna basically confirms like, yeah, it does lie within a negator. So they know it's not in, you know, it's not from before the previous loop. With Victor, Gina, Mr. Nico, and Mr. Void, she says they can be excluded. I'm not really sure how, but whatever. Then she thinks to herself, like, can we not find it because it's within the person body? Like, what makes it even more difficult to obtain the artifact under those conditions is. And Luna's like, yep, it is indeed in the body. You're getting close. And Foucault's like, oh, the vessel among all the negators who is the hardest to touch, easiest to die, causing the holder to constantly change hands. Luna's like, yes. Yes, Foucault. You're hotter than ever right now. You would continue to live all this time. And then that's when Foucault realizes, like, oh shit. Like when I looked into the past, like when I reached into my soul, I seen a bunch of people. And, you know, that's why they was like, thank you for living all this time. We are so glad that we picked you. But she comes to the realization that it's her heart, like it has to be. Because like it seems that like unluck is the one negator ability that seems to keep like has changed like a bunch of different times, like in previous loops compared to all the other ones for some reason. Well, I guess because she's so frail and unlucky. So they never remembered who had the heart until it was too late, I guess, in the afterlife. Anyway. Or maybe they didn't know. I think they were just happy that she's still alive because they was packs. So Foucault realized, like, so right when Foucault realizes that, oh, my heart is the heart artifact, Luna transforms into All Might.
This is a humongously cheesy
And,
smile.
Yes. She smiles like beyond Netero.
For real.
Or Guy Sensei. So yeah, and Foucault's like, yo, Andy, please, like, you gotta pull my heart out and use it. Just do it. Fuck it. Oh, but whoever like touches the heart will have the greatest stroke of unluck in history befall them. I guess that's having Kendrick make a diss track about you. Oh, Son is doomed. But Andy just has to be man enough to pull out the heart.
Part
This
6.
is the heart part 7.
Yeah.
Oh, he was on point. He was on point.
You got to alley-oop me, man. You gave me the alley-oop.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I almost messed that up saying 7, but it's all right.
I got it.
I didn't know he was gonna be there.
I got you.
Yeah. So yeah, and that ends this week's chapter of Undead Unluck. That we absolutely probably have less than 10 chapters left of. So, Brian, what were your thoughts on Undead Unlock Chapter 233? And, or specifically, what were your thoughts on Luna's smile?
She do be smiling. That's some real all for one shit right there.
Yeah, she does look like All for One.
She even looks like it.
Yeah, fucking chicken nugget head ass.
Yeah,
Um,
lima bean.
let me
face
ask you:
ass.
do you guys think what are the odds that Andy actually pulls out Fuko's heart?
Very low. Victor's about to violate.
I feel like it would be kind of fitting for her to die like this.
I feel like she'll get her heart ripped out, but she'll be fine. Somehow.
Somehow.
Luck will save her. But honestly, I'm just curious about how this is actually going to go down. This is a pretty interesting conundrum to put on the characters for the end game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see where it goes, but I don't have many thoughts.
I really like this chapter. I thought the twist at the end was really cool. This could have been useful to know if Sean, of course, saves the day by giving Fuko the inspiration to realize that she had the heart the entire time.
Fucking Sean, bro.
I'm telling you, Brian. This is Sean's arc. We're just living in it.
Fucking Sean, bro.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll probably, after a lot of consternation, rip out Fuko's heart. But she'll be fine because this is Undead Unluck. And they're generally positive.
Generally.
Generally.
This is the end.
Yeah, we're getting close.
It'd be really dramatic.
Yeah, it'd be very weird if we were wrong again and there's just another arc that goes over 100 chapters again. But we are speeding towards the end here. So I'm pretty sure by the end of the next chapter, they're going to rip her heart out. The chapter after that, they defeat God finally. And then maybe some epilogue chapters. That is my prediction. But as far as this chapter went, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Shawnee boy saved the day again.
Fucking Sean.
This Tozuka really likes Sean.
Yeah, I don't know why. His first introduction was so ass.
It was not ass, Brian.
He was such a loser, like in the first loop.
Yeah, he wasn't at the final battle. If he was at the final battle, they would have won.
Sean is the difference maker. He's the actual savior of the universe.
Yeah, coincidentally, the one guy that wasn't there saves the day in this one. I don't even know why they gathered everyone else.
Yeah, they should have just brought Sean.
But yeah, those are all my thoughts. Josh, what did you think?
Yeah, this was crazy. I mean, we got introduced to the artifact in this chapter, the heart, and also realized who had it. I mean, I'm sure that was planned. I had forgot all about the soul stuff because I realized, we were heading to the end fast and figured we'll just take what we can get. I guess this is why not everybody had that same situation with meeting like past versions of negators, because I think it just kept being them. Like, like even when Juiz reincarnated, it was still her. Like, I mean, she reincarnated. It didn't like switch like negators for some reason. I don't know why it keeps happening with undead. I mean, with unluck. I don't know if that was explained in the chapter. Maybe I'll look at this again and talk about it more next week when we cover it. But yeah, that wasn't really fleshed out. But I appreciate them for acknowledging it. I'll tell you that. Yeah. That's it. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, that was Undead Unluck, and that has been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh is at JDHole_37 on Instagram. At New Jump City Josh on Twitter. Brian is at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and check out the pre-show chat show. Lots of fun on that show. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts, especially on YouTube. Give us a like, a share, all that stuff. Comment your thoughts on the chapters. Let us know what you guys think. All that stuff. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Good night, everybody. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Bye.